coming by today.
So what exactly do you do here at Clifton?
Well, I'm the delegate, the elected delegate in the Virginia House of Delegates, which is the oldest legislative body in North America. And what I do, the people in Clifton and 80,000 people around here, they tell me what they want me to do on taxes, on roads, on schools. And I go to Richmond. I'm their voice in Richmond.
What is the most interesting thing about Clifton for you?
I think interesting. Clifton is such an interesting town. You've got the railroad tracks here behind us. You've got a little caboose back there. You know, the history of Clifton is just something amazing. You know, it was a railroad station that changed hands, you know, about a dozen times during the Civil War between the North and the South. And it was Devereux Station. Now it's become the town of Clifton with restaurants. It's got some of the most interesting people that are here. They're just nice, friendly, welcoming. There's a lot to do down here. I think come down here to Clifton, have a good meal, learn about the history, and have a good chat with friends.
And what is your favorite part about Old Town Clifton's history?
Well, like I said, the history, you talk about all that's happened here. And some of the best things about Clifton and the history, we talk about that is what's happening now. You have Clifton Day down here, where all the restaurants put something on, and thousands, literally tens of thousands of people come down here, and vendors come down. And it's a lot of fun. This is just a nice place to come, meet your friends, come down with your family, have a good time. I hope more people learn about the history of Clifton, and thanks to you and the Girl Scouts, I think more people are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Recording. Go ahead, Helena.
Can you tell us more about this area?
Sure. We're standing in an area that's right off of Union Mill Road, which is an old road that quite possibly goes back to colonial times. It was utilized a lot during the Civil War prior to, and at the time of First Manassas. But where we are is in an area where many, many years ago, the Indians used to mine soapstone. They would make different kinds of implements out of it, cooking utensils and storage jars and things. And this would have been from about 3000 BC, so it's really ancient times. Right on up until about the time of Christ. And by that time, the Indians had discovered how to make pottery, so they didn't use soapstone as much for their cooking and storage. Sure, we're standing at a soapstone pit, and this probably was mined in more modern times, although, you know, many, many years ago, the Indians might have gotten some soapstone from here. But I think this is of more recent vintage, you know, 1880s up until World War I.
You decide to make Clifton a historic district?
Well, the historic district the idea started by the Clifton Community Women's Club in where they tried to do it for the bicentennial of the United States, and they never got it really off the ground. And that was one of the things we wanted to continue, and I was on the town council to try to pursue that. I ran for mayor and got beat, and the person that won the mayorship, basically, he didn't want to have the Clifton town basically designated a historic district. When I ran for mayor in 1982 and won, basically, that was my first objective, was to get the town of Clifton on the map as a National Historic District, state and National Historic District. And there's benefits for that, basically, for posterity and for future, because you got a town that basically the buildings are fairly replica of the 1880s, 1890s in that area. And it's so close to Washington, D.C. There's... Well, this house was basically built probably in the mid-1850s, 1880s. You can't definitely prove what it is, but it's like the beams are basically pine on the inside, and originally the roof was basically shaped single. addition on it. We put an addition on it in 1981. And we put the workhouse back there in 1977. So we've lived here. It's been a long time.
Peterson's changed the town.
Well, I moved in here at 2001, and for the first 3 or 4 years that we lived here, I used to rollerblade on the street on Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, and there would not be a car that came by Clifton the entire time I'm rollerblading for 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, the streets were, I mean, deserted. No, there's no reason to come to Clifton. There was no ice cream shop. The restaurant across the street, Villaggio, used to be the Heart and Hand, but it went out of business. There was a coffee shop that wasn't open in the afternoons. The Main Street pub was just the Clifton General Store, and they closed at 2 o'clock. The restaurant, which is now Trummer's, that used to be a different restaurant, it had closed. So Clifton was really a dead town at that time. And Gene and I were looking for something for me to do.
How are you?
When I retired from teaching at Robinson Secondary, and we went to this little ice cream shop in Fairfax called Woody's, and we thought it was really cool, and it was packed. And then the next week we went to Woody's, it was packed, and we was like, okay, this is what I'll do after I stop teaching, is we'll open an ice cream shop. And we opened that in our garage, not knowing what we were doing. Our carriage house, it was used as an office space by the man who we bought it from. And then the downstairs was a garage, which we did what everybody else does, we kept junk in it. And so we knew that when we decided to open an ice cream shop, we had a place that would be very good for an ice cream shop.